Coming up today, President Park Geun-hye holds summit talks with her German counterpart in Seoul. Discussions are focused on cooperation in the trade, science and technology sectors. Inter-Korean relations are expected to improve in the coming weeks after North Korea chose not to launch a provocation to mark a key political anniversary. Preparations for the upcoming reunion of war-separated families are also going well. Plus, there's anger and sorrow in Turkey as the death toll from the Ankara bombing rises to 128. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello, it's noon on Monday, the 12th of October. You're tuned in to our midday newscast here on Arirang TV. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Broome. And we start at the presidential office, where President Park Geun-hye held a summit with visiting German President Joachim Gauck this morning. The presidential office of Cheongwade says the two leaders discussed ways to bolster cooperation in the technology sector. This includes more joint research and development projects in such areas as solar energy panels and automobile parts. The leaders also agreed to expand trade and investment in a balanced manner. Germany is Korea's largest trade partner in Europe, but Seoul's trade deficit with the nation has more than doubled in the space of just 7 years. This was President Park's second meeting with the German president since visiting Berlin in March last year. And President Park Geun-hye travels to the United States this week for a summit with her US counterpart Barack Obama. Her 4-day trip begins on Tuesday. The two leaders will meet on Friday to discuss the South Korea-US alliance and peace and stability in Northeast Asia. They may also adopt a statement containing a strong message against North Korea's missile and nuclear weapons development. On Thursday, President Park will become only the second South Korean leader since Im Young-bak to visit the Pentagon. She will also attend a lunch hosted by US Vice President Joe Biden the same day. Prior to that, on Wednesday, she will visit the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center as part of efforts to strengthen bilateral cooperation on space issues. President Park will be accompanied by 166 business leaders, the largest contingent to date. Now, the dispute over the Park administration's aim to give the government sole authority over the publication of the country's history textbooks is heating up. Following meetings on the issue by the plan's proponents, the Ministry of Education says it will announce its reform plan in a couple of hours from now, while the ruling party says uniformity is essential. The opposition says state-authored textbooks could whitewash certain periods of Korea's history. A teachers' association, whose membership encompasses 40% of Korean educators, voted for the government plan on Sunday with 62% in favour. However, the number of academics and civic groups signing onto petitions against the push is also on the rise. Now that a month-long parliamentary audit is almost over, the focus of the National Assembly now boils down to major controversies. Plans for a single government-authorised textbook, as we just heard, and labour reform initiatives. Park Ji-won has more.
Korea's rival parties are again entering a parliamentary deadlock over a number of pressing issues. One is the government's attempt to publish a single government-authorized history textbook, scrapping the current system of allowing several government-authorized textbooks to be published. Through forming a special committee, the ruling Saenuri Party plans to publicize errors and distorted views in some of the textbooks, while opposition blocs are attacking the government, claiming it aims to force a history perspective that favors the ruling party on younger generations. With both camps looking at the matter beyond the textbook issue, their ideological confrontation ensures the standoff will continue, at least for the moment. Another issue is the ruling party's labor reform initiative. The ruling Saenuri Party is pushing to revise 5 labor-related laws, ostensibly to achieve a more flexible labor market, one of key reforms the Park Geun-hye administration has vowed to achieve. But the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy opposes the reforms. Instead, they are pushing for changes to the ways in which businesses manage themselves and hire employees. With next year's general elections some 6 months away, analysts say, however, that standoffs between rebel parties will likely be heightened as they try to divert internal conflicts over candidate selection rules to external matters. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
The Speaker of Korea's National Assembly has met with rival party floor leaders and members from the Assembly's Political Reform Committee. Now, Monday's meeting discussed redrawing electoral boundaries ahead of next year's general elections. But rival parties still face difficulties over how to rearrange the districts while keeping the number of Assembly seats at 300. To minimize the number of rural constituencies expected to be merged, the ruling Saenuri Party wants to reduce the number of seats selected through proportional representation. However, the main opposition, New Politics Alliance for Democracy, opposes reducing proportional representation, claiming it goes against political reform. Now, North Korea celebrated a key political event on Saturday, showing off its military might rather than forging ahead with a provocation. Experts say this could signal an improvement in inter-Korean relations. Connie Kim reports.
Thousands of troops holding torches goose-stepped through Kim Il-sung Square after North Korea's parade, marking 70 years of the country's ruling Workers' Party. North Korea celebrated the anniversary on Saturday with a massive military parade through the streets of Pyongyang, showing off its latest weaponry, including drones and missiles. Rather than launch a long-range rocket to mark the anniversary, the regime showed off its military might for 2 hours. Experts forecast an improvement in inter-Korean relations as a young North Korean leader did not order a rocket launch or any other provocation. They say the inter-Korean agreement reached 2 months ago states that South Korea will turn its loudspeakers back on at the demilitarized zone if there is an abnormal situation. Analysts say the last thing Kim Jong-un wants is those loudspeakers starting again. South Korea had turned on its loudspeakers at the demilitarized zone in August, following that month's landmine provocation. Meanwhile, preparations for the planned reunion of families separated by the Korean War are going smoothly. A preparatory team from South Korea will head to the Mount Kumgang Resort in North Korea on October 15th. 90 South Koreans and 97 North Koreans will meet with long-lost relatives at the resort from October 20th to the 26th. Many analysts say North Korea will continue to talk with South Korea as the regime wants to see the resumption of the long-stalled Mount Kumgang tour program and the lifting of economic sanctions following North Korea's 2010 torpedo attack on a South Korean warship. But they say the extent of improvement in inter-Korean relations will be up to how much the South Korean government is willing to accept North Korea's request. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
Now, operations at Korea's small and medium-sized manufacturing firms have slumped to a 6-year low on the back of low domestic demand and exports. According to a survey by the IBK Economic Research Institute, the operating rate of local manufacturing firms with fewer than 300 employees was at 70.2% in August, down 1.2% from the same time last year. Now, if we exclude figures for the shorter month of February, this is the lowest rate of operations since August 2009, the height of the global financial crisis. However, a recent Finance Ministry report says that despite the uncertain global economic outlook, domestic demand is picking up due to government-led sales events and lower consumption taxes. Now, in international news, the Turkish government says the death toll in the bomb attacks on a peace rally in Ankara has risen to 128. This as the country faces challenges dealing with ethnic frictions ahead of parliamentary elections that are set for early next month. Son Jung-in has more.
Thousands of people gathered across Turkey on Sunday to voice their anger at the worst terror attack in the country's history. No group has yet claimed responsibility for Saturday's double bombing in the capital Ankara that targeted a peace rally calling for equality and peace. Demonstrators and mourners blamed the government for its security failures. But the government has pointed fingers at Islamic State militants or Kurdish rebels, citing the political upheaval in Turkey and Syria. Turkey's main opposition party leader called on the interior and justice ministers to resign.
I think if both ministers respect their job and our people, they should resign without any explanation. This is their political responsibility. If they don't, this trauma will deepen.
Political tension has intensified in Turkey as the military continues to battle Islamic State jihadists and Kurdish militants. With just 3 weeks left before snap elections scheduled for November 1st, critics accuse President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of intensifying attacks on Kurds to win votes for the ruling party. Officials say Saturday's attack bears striking similarities to a suicide bombing in July, also against the peace activists that the government blamed on the Islamic State group. That bombing killed 33 Turkish and Kurdish peace activists. 손정인, Arirang News.
Now, Iraq claims to have hit a military convoy carrying Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. A statement said the strike happened in Anbar province, but officials said it was unclear if al-Baghdadi had been killed. Al-Baghdadi's whereabouts have been unknown for long periods, and there have been previous claims that he has been killed in the past. Residents of a nearby town say 8 senior IS figures were killed, but they say al-Baghdadi did not appear to be among them. The US military has declined to comment on the report. The US Central Bank is likely to raise interest rates by the end of this year, but nothing is guaranteed. This statement was made by Federal Reserve Vice Chairman Stanley Fischer, who was speaking at a seminar on the sidelines of the International Monetary Fund meeting in Peru on Sunday. He said the rate hike was an expectation, not a commitment. Fischer added that both the timing and adjustments to the rate target will depend critically on future developments in the economy, as considerable uncertainty still exists in the US economic outlook, particularly slowing global growth. Now, the Volkswagen emissions scandal has seriously damaged the German auto giant's credibility and sales of diesel vehicles as well. But the hybrid and electric car market may end up benefiting from VW's despair. Won Jian reports.
Just a few months ago, the popularity of diesel cars was taking off in Korea. That was until the German carmaker Volkswagen came under fire last month for deliberately installing software on its diesel cars to cheat emissions tests. Feeling betrayed by the once trusted automaker, consumers around the world are beginning to turn their backs on diesel.
Volkswagen's clean diesel image has now been damaged. The scandal has also proved that diesel engines come with many limitations, so now we can expect a relative drop in diesel car sales.
A recent survey by Korea's auto research firm Consumer Insight shows that the ratio of car owners wanting diesel over other alternative fuels had dropped by more than half the amount reported before the scandal. Meanwhile, consumer demand for hybrid cars had grown to 35% in September, more than 3 times the ratio from July. Now experts are saying that the golden age of electric cars may not be so far away.
Until now, the automobile industry focused mainly on the quantitative growth of its brands, but the scandal has opened the door to an era of electric and hybrid vehicles.
Experts added that the shift in consumers' choice in eco-friendly vehicles could reshape the entire car industry. They are now advising Korean car makers to step up their hybrid and electric sectors to prepare for the future of automobiles. Won Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Now, finally, Jack Frost is beginning to nip at Korea's heels a little early this year. Temperatures in mountainous regions of Gangwon-do province hit freezing this Monday morning to form the first frost of the season. Those in Seoul woke up to a chilly 8 degrees Celsius. The mercury, however, is expected to rise to around 18 degrees Celsius in the capital. Yet this is still 3 to 4 degrees cooler than the yearly average at this time of the year. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the country can expect another crisp morning, but the low temperatures are expected to ease later in the week. Well, that's all we have for now. Thank you, as always, for watching. We'll be back throughout the day with more newscasts. Goodbye.